You can see now I've pressed it, and you can see the little red button, little red thing on the thing, and I can see my sound meter going. So gentlemen,
All right.
enjoy. Thank you for your service.
So I guess we'll just start off with some biographical details. Where were you born?
Fulton, Missouri.
What hospital were you born in?
Callaway Hospital.
Nice. Who were your parents, and what were their occupations at that time?
Forrest and Eleanor Baker.
What did they do for a job?
What'd you say?
What did they work for? What was their job, their occupation?
Oh, he was a rural mail carrier. My father was. Now, my mother was a homemaker.
Nice. How many siblings did you have?
My brother and sisters.
Mm-hmm.
One brother and one sister.
Okay. What were their names?
Blanche Baker and Jean Baker.
Mm-hmm. Did any of them serve in the military as well?
Jean did, yes, sir.
Nice. What were your parents and your siblings, and I guess your relatives as well, what did they think about you joining the military?
Well, they didn't have much to say about it. I was drafted, so I had to go. I got the greetings from my friends and neighbors to show up.
Did they approve of the draft? Did they
Yes, they
Nice.
went along with it all right.
What job did you hold before you were drafted?
I worked for Callaway Electric as an apprentice lineman.
Nice. What year did you go into the military exactly?
In January of 1951.
Nice. Why did you think what were your feelings when you drafted? Were you scared? Were you possibly frightened?
I didn't know what hardly to expect, but I was glad that I could go and serve my country.
Nice. In which branch were you drafted into?
The United States Army.
Nice. What type of training were you put into? Like basic training as far as, were you put into a special type of basic
I
training?
went to Camp Cook, California for 6 months, basic training, infantry basic, and then went to Japan for 6 more months, training on tanks, and then to Korea for a year of 52.
What was your most vivid memory of during that time? Like, what was your most memory that you could just think of whenever you refer back to your training? What was that one memory that you just you think of?
Well, the worst part of it was the trip from California to Japan on a troop ship. It took us 18 days, and I was sick all the way. I lost 10 pounds in 18 days. It was miserable. I couldn't keep water or food down. It was the worst part of the 2 years.
That's when you found out you were seasick.
What'd you say?
Is that when you found out you were seasick?
Yes. I couldn't keep water down. I wanted to die and couldn't do it. It was terrible feeling.
Yeah. What does any particular instructor that you remember stick out in your mind? Like anyone that instructed you?
What was that?
Did anyone, particularly like a drill sergeant or anyone, does anyone stick out in your memory, like a particular person?
No, I can't. I had several friends. One of my best friends was from Wyoming that I went out and hunted with several years after we got out of service.
Nice.
He was about my best buddy. The Forest Division that I was in, that's California's National Guard. And when the Korean War started in 1950, they were activated. And they had to have everybody had to fill up the division, so they drafted people from all over the United States as fillers to fill up the 4th Division. And he was from Wyoming, and I was from Missouri, and I had some friends from Iowa and a friend from Washington, all over. It was an interesting experience.
Yeah.
I had a lot of big friends.
Was there any specialized training involved with the tank training you received?
Yes, we trained in the M4 tanks to start with. That was the older tank. And then in Japan we trained in the 46, that's a lot newer tank. It's specialized.
Which tank did you prefer?
Which tank?
Yeah.
The 46 was nicer outfit. It'd go faster and had a bigger gun on it. It handled
Better, more kick to it. Do you attend regularly? Like, have you attended any reunions since you were released from the service?
Have we had reunions?
Yes.
Yes, we've had several, yeah. But now that so many of us have died, that they haven't had any lately. They haven't had any for some time now. Most of my old friends are gone that was in the service with me.
What are some lessons you learned from the military service that you still use today?
I learned that we have it mighty nice over in the United States. In Korea and Japan, things were a lot different. And,
Were they different in cases of, like, was it terrible? Was it, like, really terrible? Was
well, the living conditions were worse. They didn't have as much money and influence as we did here in the United States.
Mm-hmm. Was there less personal freedom as far as, like, being able to choose what to do, as far as wanting to do something or being forced to do something? Did you think that was, like, more of a strict confine? Did they, like, force their citizens to do something that you just thought was, like, you're appreciative that your government doesn't make you do stuff like that?
Yeah, I was glad I could help out to do my part for the country. It was a good experience. I wouldn't make anything for it. I'm glad I was able to go and come back.
Yeah. Have some more questions. If we can back up a bit. Where's a good question? Oh yes. What was your beginning rank when you were in the military? Like, were you assigned?
Private E1.
How did you advance to the ranks, if you did?
Well, in the tank, or in combat situation, you get promoted quicker. Because see, some of them are rotated, have enough points, they can rotate home. Some of them are wounded, some of them are killed, and you move up faster. And when we got to Korea, I was assistant driver, they call that the bog. He could make corporal, and after a while I moved up to, got a chance to move up to gunner. He can make a sergeant, and the driver can make sergeant also. And then finally I got promoted to tank commander, and he can make sergeant first class. So you move up pretty fast in a combat situation.
What battles were you involved in? Like, any particular battles you were?
Well, the main one was White Horse Mountain near Chowan, and our platoon leader was wounded there. He got out of his tank for some reason, wanted to move someplace where it shouldn't have been, and if he'd stayed in, he would have been all right. But we have intercom in there, you can talk to your crew, but he got out for some reason, and the mortar round came in and hit him, took most of his lower jaw off. That was the worst battle I was ever in.
What decisions did you make as far as a tank commander that you wish you made differently, as far as, like, you wish you could have saved someone, or did you not save someone that you wish you could have?
Well, I've never had any situations like that, no. We worked with the South Korean soldiers quite a bit. We would go out and we'd shoot at the bunkers with our 90mm guns and try to knock out the bunkers. And then the South Korean troops, they were ROKs, R-O-K, Republic of Korea. And then they would go on up and take them out and take the hill.
Did you have any friends that were in the South Korean military?
Anyway.
Did you make any friends with the South Korean military?
No, didn't have any close friends. Couldn't speak the language. We did train them some. Had a demonstration how to show them how to field strip a machine gun. But I never had a good close friend with them.
What in Korea, as far as, did you ever take a leave of absence? Did you ever go into Korea and stay for a while, as far as like a...
Yes, they, after we'd been there a while, they sent us back to Japan for R&R, rest and recuperation, for about 2 weeks. That was nice. So I went back to Japanese resort and came back to
What is your favorite memory of your time in Korea? Like as far as if you can think about it.
I don't know what would be my favorite memory. Just meeting the new friends that I made. But I'd say the worst part was the trip on the troop ship to
It was worse than anything else.
California, Japan. That was the worst part of it.
Did you ever write any letters home to your family?
Yes, we did. Quite often. Yeah, I was always glad to hear from folks at home. My mother was good about taking pictures. She sent me a lot of pictures about the things going on the farm there, and I was always anxious to hear about what was going on. We rode quite a bit. Yeah, we didn't have cell phone and all that stuff that we had to use the U.S. mail.
Did you look forward to receiving that mail like when did you receive the mail? Usually, like how often did you receive a letter?
Maybe every couple of weeks, something like it, as well as I remember. I'm not sure. But she sent those full of paper quite often. It's interesting things that someone might be interested in. They send newspaper over too.
What was the thing you missed most probably while you were in Korea? As far as what did you miss most from the United States?
What did I miss most?
Yeah.
I don't know what I would say about that. Just miss my family and the things around home there mostly.
Do you ever get back together with the members of your tank crew and ever meet with them if there are any alive?
I did for a while, but they're all gone now. Haven't heard from any of them for several years now.
What was
There's one man in Arnold, he wasn't in my tank crew, but he was in Company B, and I hear from him now and then. He's still.
How did you know him when you were in the service?
What do you say?
How did you know him previously? Did you know him?
He was just in my company, but then he was from Arnold, Missouri. But actually, he wasn't in my tank.
Did you go to training with him?
Yes, went through basic training. Well, went through all 2 years with him. We were there together, yes.
Was he the only person from your regiment that was from Missouri, besides yourself?
No, yeah, I guess he was. No, there were several more from different parts of Missouri. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Was any of your friends at the time you were drafted already in the service? Did you know anyone that was already in the military?
When I was drafted, there was 5 or 6 from Callaway County drafted at the same time, but we were all pretty well split up after we got in there. We didn't stay together too long.
Do you think that you were like, as far as your position as a tank commander, were you appreciative of the position you were filling? Did you think that you really suited that position that you were serving in?
Yes, I was glad to do it. Of course, the higher rank, the more money you got, and I was glad to get more pay.
Yeah. When you came back to the United States, what was the feeling? What did you like? Where did you leave? Did you come back and get back? Did you go back the same way?
Came back to California, and then I was discharged in Camp Carson, Colorado, in January of '53. Yeah, I was glad to be back in the United States.
Did you have to take the boat back over from Japan?
Yes, I did. I wasn't sick though coming back. It took maybe 14 days coming back, and it didn't bother me quite as much for some reason.
What year did you make the journey back from Korea?
What year?
Yeah.
Well, it was in December of '52. I was discharged in January of '53.
That was right around the time when the war started to de-escalate, or were you already, was the war already over as far as?
No, it was still going on. They had a ceasefire in July of 1953. But it was still pretty active when I left there.
Yeah, and I heard they still are today. What was the conditions as far as like where you served? Was it like terribly cold? Was it?
It was very cold in the wintertime. Uh, uh, the rivers over there weren't quite as big as ours, and they're more rocky. And we sometimes drive the tanks down the river on the ice. They wouldn't put up mines in the ice. That was our worst thing to look for, was mine. Hit a mine, blow a track off the tank.
How did you repair the tank as far as?
Well, but we carried the spare tracks on it. We could pull them back out of the way and repair them and go on.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, it did get pretty cold, and those rivers pretty well freeze solid. You just drive down off the ice.
What did you do after the service? Like after you came home, what was your job?
I farmed for about a year, and then I got on at the post office in I guess it was July of '54.
Mm-hmm. How many years did you serve in the post office?
I was there 30 years and retired from the post office. I didn't go back to the Cali Elected. I should have gone. They would guarantee your job back after if you're drafted, but I didn't go back to the Cali Elected.
When people asked you when you came back about what happened over there, were they like trying to make it seem like it was a useless war? Did you think the war accomplished anything when you were there?
Yeah, we thought we did help the South Koreans from being overrun by the North Koreans and Chinese.
Mm-hmm. What is your opinion today about the Koreans? Do you think they still need help over there as far as maybe stopping if the North Koreans come down again and try to attack South Korea? What do you think should happen with us, the U.S.? What should the U.S. do?
Yeah, I was glad to, like I said, just do my part and help them keep the North Koreans out of South Korea.
Okay. When did you meet your wife after you left the service?
It was, I guess, a couple of years after you got out of service. I met her at the street fair there in Fulton.
Did any of her relatives serve in the military at all?
Yes, sir. One of her brothers was serving in the military. I don't think he ever went overseas, but he was in there for some time.
Was there any point when you were, did any of your children want to join the military as well? Did they ever ask you? And what did you tell them about it when they wanted?
Any of my children?
Yes.
Well, no, I had one daughter.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't, wasn't interested in service.
She didn't aspire to be.
No, she didn't know what service.
Do you still have any of your memorabilia with you, or besides your uniform, do you have anything of value that you brought back from Korea that you still have today?
No, I don't really have anything like that.
No souvenirs?
Huh?
You don't have any souvenirs?
No.
Yeah. So you mentioned earlier when you went to the Japan resort for the R&R. How long was that, and what did you do when you were there?
It was about a week or two, maybe. I guess we was over there. We went to a resort there. There was snow on the ground. We tried to ski some. My buddy from Wyoming, he knew how to ski. He's pretty good at it. That's the first time I'd ever had skis on. And came to the little old fence, and my skis went under the fence, and I went over the fence. That was the last time I was on the skis. It didn't go too good.
You didn't think it was that good?
It didn't go too good. Another memory though of Japan, we were camped at the base of Mount Fujiyama.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very, very famous mountain there in Japan. It's a real pretty place.
Mm-hmm.
I never did climb it. They say if you fool, you don't climb it once. If you climb it twice, you're a bigger fool. I never did climb it, but it did have it's easy to climb.
Was there any training you received that greatly helped you? Like you were really appreciative of that training you received? Like any particular part of the training, like to do with firearms, to do with something in particular to do with the tank? Was there anything that you learned that you're really glad you knew about when you were in a battle?
Well, it was all very interesting. training, strenuous. I'm glad we were trained, so we knew what we were kind of getting into when we got over there.
Mm-hmm.
The United States and the Allies pretty well controlled the air in Korea. They pretty well had the upper hand, so we didn't have to worry too much about airplanes bombing us. The tank would have been a big target for the airplane.
Yeah.
It made it worse on it, but our worst thing was hitting a landmine. The small arms and hand grenade, that sort of thing, won't hurt the tank. They used mortars quite a bit. Our motto was, when the mortar is close enough to blow dirt down the hatch, that's when you close up the hatch. if a mortar goes down the hatch, that'd be the end of it. The whole crew would be killed.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Did you, what fortifications did you destroy with the tank?
what?
What particular fortifications did you destroy with the tank? Did you destroy mortars? Did you destroy bunkers?
Yeah, we most of what we did was shoot in bunkers, knock out bunkers with that 90mm cannon. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's what most of our missions were. Yeah.
Did you ever receive any air support when you were in a battle?
No, we didn't. I think I saw one dogfight when I was over there between the Russian and the U.S., but like I say, the U.S. pretty well controlled the air.
Mm-hmm.
They used a lot of what they call napalm in Korea. The U.S. and the Allies did. That's a jellied gasoline, and it's a bomb, and it hits on the ground, and then it splatters out, and it's on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And it just burns all the vegetation and stuff off the hills.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those hills just had a few stubs sticking up there, but you can see the enemy a lot better. And if those napalm bombs hit close to a bunker, well, it'd be terrible. It'd burn you up in there.
Yes.
The napalm was something else. I don't know whether they even outlawed it now. Might not be able to use it anymore. I don't know.
I don't know if the UN has outlawed it yet. I think they might have, though, because it falls under the probably one of the military acts where illegal weapons of warfare, probably,
Yeah.
to use that. What is one thing in particular one battle where you just really remember and you just really don't like to remember, if you don't want to talk about it?
Well, none of them bothered me that much. They never bothered me that much.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, I never saw a man I was shooting at. We'd shoot into those bunkers. I'm sure that people they were in those bunkers, but we couldn't see them.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't bother me.
Mm-hmm.
But our company had one tank with a mounted flail, they called it. It's a big drum in front of the tank. It has a bunch of chains on it. It swirls around, and it goes through a minefield, and those chains hit the mine and set them off. So we just followed that tank through.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we get through a minefield safely.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big advantage.
How big was, like, you were in a tank, how many other tanks were you usually with?
Company B, I think, had 5 tanks to a company.
Mm-hmm. Were you assigned to follow any particular regiment, or were you just assigned to follow?
No, I was assigned to Company B, 140th Tank Battalion.
Okay.
4th Division.
Mm-hmm. Is there any time where you just really wish you weren't there in Korea? Did you really wish that you were just like home instead?
I wished I wasn't there.
Yes.
Well, I never was in that kind of situation. No,
Mm-hmm.
it never did bother me. Never did bother me. But, no.
Is there anyone who, like, you really wish you could have talked to that suffered afterwards from the war that you wish you could have helped more?
No, I can't think of anyone. Most everyone I was with came through it in good shape.
Mm-hmm. After you returned from Korea, when was your first reunion after you returned?
Oh, it may have been several years. I don't remember when we had our first one. But we've had 5 or 6 of them, but like I say, the last few years they quit having.
Mhm.
Not enough veterans left.
Do you still, like, do you have any, I know for a fact that you love tanks and you love tracked stuff. Do you now, like, you wish you were a tank mechanic instead of a tank commander so you could have worked on tanks?
No, I like the way it was. I like to be out there and where the action was.
You liked it?
Yeah, that was the first experience I'd ever had with a tracked vehicle, and I was amazed at what they would do. And I've just been there. That's when I got into dozers after I got home. Then
I mentioned earlier, I asked you earlier about the climate, and you said it was cold. What was the terrain like as far as like where you were with the tank?
terrain, it's pretty hilly, pretty hilly. The season was pretty much like here in Missouri, but it may got just a little bit colder in the wintertime. But well, they had quite a bit of rain in the springtime also. But otherwise, they were about the same as in Missouri.
What was your favorite meal, if there was one, that you had?
I don't remember. I like most all kind of food. I'm not too picky. We had sea rations sometimes, but most time we'd go out on a mission. We'd come back to our company area, and we'd have our own cook tent and eat there. But we did eat sea rations sometimes. Just heat them up a little bit.
What were sea rations composed of?
Oh, they were mostly canned soup and stuff like that. But we had a little gasoline stove where we could heat water in and put a can of soup in it and heat up. It's pretty good, pretty good. Like I say, I could eat most anything.
What were the sleeping conditions?
Sleeping conditions?
Yeah.
We had good sleeping conditions. Each crew, the 5-man crew, had their own tent, and they had stretchers in there to sleep on. And we had, in the wintertime, we had down-filled sleeping bags. They was warm. And we had little gas stoves in there that kind of keep it was warm too. We were bivouacked one year in Coomsong Valley, and there was several 155 self-propelled guns close to us. They'd fire at night quite a bit. That's a big gun, 155. And the concussion of those guns, sometimes when they'd fire, it'd put the fire out in our stove. It'd just blow it out. We'd wake up in the morning and be cold in there.
That is pretty funny. Is there, how often were you allowed to shower if you were, was it?
Out of the shower.
Mm-hmm.
In the summertime, we just bathe in the river there. And in the wintertime, we just heat up some water, put it in our steel helmet, and just take a little spit bath there in our tent. And you couldn't shower. But it was, we could get by. And we'd put a little gasoline in a can and put a metal ammo box on top of that and let that water boil and put our clothes in there and wash our clothes in.
What was the gun? Did you carry a gun inside the tank?
Yes, we had the driver and the gunner and the tank commander had 45 pistols, and the assistant driver had a carbine, and the loader, he was the bottom man. He had what they call a grease gun.
Submachine gun?
Automatic 45, yeah.
Did you ever have to use your pistol in combat?
No, I never did. Never did. No. No, so we had that 90mm gun, and then the assistant driver had a 30 caliber machine gun, and there was also a 30 caliber machine gun lined with the 90 that the gunner could shoot, and they had a 50 caliber machine gun on top that the tank commander could use.
Did you ever use that one?
We never did use that 50 caliber.
Did you ever wish you could have? Like maybe like.
Huh?
Did you ever train with it?
Oh yeah, we fired, yeah. There was a lot of firepower in the 50 caliber machine gun.
You said you used the 46 tank, I think. Were you ever using the earlier model tank at all? Like, did you ever?
We trained on the old M4s. They had the air-cooled 500 horse air-cooled motor in them. but the 46s had the, no, the M4 had the water-cooled motor, but the 46s had the 810 horse Continental air-cooled motor. That's great big motor.
How far could your tank go before needing to refill gas or armaments?
I don't really know the range of it, but we'd always fill up and got back to the company area when we went out on a mission.
How many rounds could you hold on average you could shoot?
How many rounds?
Yeah.
There's quite a few of those 90mm shells. They're about that long, and they had wells in the bottom of the tank and plates over that. And they had several rounds. I don't know how many they did, but the loader really had to work. He had to pull those shells up out of there and throw them up into the gun. And then when the gun fired, it'd kick the empty back out. And there was a little hole on the side. He'd have to pick up he had gloves on. Those shells were hot. And pick it up and throw it out the side.
What was the, how often or how fast could you shoot? It's like, what was your fastest shooting time?
Well, we could shoot pretty fast. Of course, I'd work that loader pretty hard. He had pull out of it and throw it up in there. When he threw it up in there, the breech block would go up, and then you could fire it.
Did he ever get exhausted doing that? Did he ever?
Yes, we did. One time, it was in sometimes kind of hot, and we were firing quite a bit, and he kind of got overcome. With a few, we have the exhaust fans in there, but the fumes kind of got bad. He got sick, and we had to pull back behind the hill and open up and let him out. And he just straightened out there. He got overcome.
Did you said you hit a landmine and you had to replace your track? Where were your tracks located onto the tank? Was it inside of the tank or was it out in the outside?
No, there's some extra pads on the turret, on the side of the turret. Each tank had a few extra ones in case they blew it off. They weren't too hard to repair. We had jacks on there that could pull the tracks back together and put them on. They were easier to service than the crawler tanks on the bulldozers here in the United States.
How fast could you change the tracks?
Oh, it wouldn't take too long if all five of us get to working on it. Our tank never did hit a mine. One tank, I remember Sergeant Miller, I believe, was driving it, hit a mine and blew the tank off. But each tank had a tow cable on it. We could hook onto him, pull him back behind the hill, have him change.
Were any of the tanks in your battalion destroyed?
No, nothing.
Not a single one?
No memory of any of them being destroyed.
Impressive. Was there any time when your tank overheated?
Overheated?
Yes.
No, I don't believe there was. There was two cooler fans on the back of it, one on each side, and they'd put out quite a bit of heat, that air-cooled motors. And in the rainy season, it'd be awful wet. We'd just stand kind of on those cooler fans and let the heat come up and dry us off with the ponchos on.
Did you ever get sick while you were over there?
Ever get sick? No, never did. In Korea, no. No. Very fortunate.
Did you?
Felt pretty good all the time.
Did you ever see any wounded? Were you ever helping? Did you ever like transport wounded back in your tank? Did you ever?
No, the only one that I remember wounded was our platoon leader. Like I say, when the water round came in, hit his lower jaw, and we radioed back to the medics, and they sent a helicopter up there, and we shot up a flare so they know where we were, and they picked him up and took him back. And I guess he went on back to Japan. He never did come back to our outfit. He went on back to the United States, I guess. But that's the only casualty that I ever had.
When you were finally dismissed in Korea and you went back to Japan to get back on the boat to go back to the United States, what did you do in Japan before you left, if you did anything? Did you immediately, once you got to Japan, go back to California, or did you stay?
Well, yeah, we after we left Korea, we went to Sasebo, Japan, and then Had a shake down there. I took all of our stuff we didn't need, and it says on the boat back to California.
What did they take from you when you went to Japan?
I had a 50 caliber ammo box about this big with all my shaving gear and toothpaste and stuff in it. They took that away, but I didn't want to stay back. I don't know why, but I wanted to keep that. But we threw so many of those away in Korea. It was fire, you know.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't want us to stay back.
That's odd. What is the helmet or hat did you wear? What did you have a particular
hats?
Yeah.
Well, it had one steel helmet, and
Mhm.
then it had a liner in there that you could take the steel off if you wanted to.
Mhm.
It just fit over the liner.
Mhm. What particular? I'm assuming. Did you wear that outfit inside of the tank, or did you wear it?
This? No, we had fatigues we wore.
Mhm.
This is what they call a Class A. That's our dress uniform.
Mhm.
Yeah, we didn't use that. We didn't ever wear it in Korea. I don't think.
Was it kept in training camp? Where did you have it? Like your
What'd
dress
you say?
uniform, your Class A, your thing. Where did you have it?
In our duffel bag.
Mm-hmm.
In the duffel bag.
Okay. Particularly, what? I see you have one golden underneath your lapel, your medal. What is that?
This?
Yes.
Well, that's just it says in the Korean War.
It's celebratory.
Veteran says veteran in the Korean War. Yeah.
What is the sun, the blue, on your right shoulder?
I'm not sure. Some of that is occupation in Japan. We were occupation forces there. We were there in '51. That was soon after the war was over. It was over in Japan surrendered in '45, wasn't it? I think.
Mhm.
And we were occupation forces. Part of that is occupation forces, and the rest of us is service in Korea.
On your shoulder right here, there's a sun with a blue background. What
That's
is
the
that?
Forest Division. Sunburst.
That is the symbol of it?
Huh?
That is the symbol of the Force Division?
Yeah, Forest Division. California's National Guard. That's a fact, yeah.
Yes. The, what is the, on your other, like right here, that button, that golden button?
One of them's got a tank on it. One of them says U.S. This has got a tank, see?
Mm-hmm.
Armor
Division.
service. Yeah.
The, after you returned to the U.S., were you greeted, like, celebratory? Was anyone there, like, particularly disgruntled that you were participating in the war at all?
No, nothing like that. I guess the Vietnam veterans did have a lot of problems. People didn't prove that did. But
Mhm.
no, people always had to see us come back.
Mm-hmm.
We never had any hard feelings like that.
So you mentioned you were in the post office for 30 years. After you left the post office, what did you do?
I went to farming after I got out of the post office.
Mm-hmm.
Been farming ever since.
Yes. Let's see. Any more questions? I think that would be the end of the interview. Thank you for coming, by the way, to Elias and conducting the interview with me.
Had to do it.
Thank you for answering all my questions. I think that will be all. But thank you for coming,
Yeah.
and I hope that people like it.